a little while, and then now we're doing the percentiles that are on the paper. Okay, so really quick, I found a great formula for percentiles to use instead of, I gotta find, here it is. Instead of what your book uses. So let me get that for you. P equals, I'll write it here. This is a little formula I want us to use. I'll zoom out. P is the percentile. That's what that stands for. We talked about what percentiles mean. Okay, they use these in doctor's offices, all kinds of stuff. N is the total, like how many numbers there are. Okay, and then we'll use the other little n.
It's a little n over a big N.
Yeah, it's a little n over the big N. Okay. So the little n, I guess it's like what the number that we're going to be looking for. So I think I want to do my number 10 and 11. I think they look like y'all's. Okay. So what I would do is it wants me to find the 20th percentile. So ignore your paper for just a minute. I'm going to work some of these out. All right. So it says find the 20th percentile. So we write for my P percentile, we would write that as 0.20. Does everybody agree with that? That's my percentile. That's the 20th percent. Okay. And it says find the value. So I'm trying to find what number is at that percentile. That's my little n. Now, how many numbers are there on number 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, how do I solve for a little n? Multiply by 10. So when I multiply by 10, what do I get? Is that 2? Okay, so it's going to be my second number, right? That means I have to line them up in the right order to see what my second number is, okay? So let me see something on here.
Wait, why do you need a second number?
Well, that's going to be my, what percentile am I looking for? The 20th. What the 20th percentile will be my second number. But on number 10, I need to line them up.
So you throw in order.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. So my lowest number is 168. I'll just list them over here. What's my next number? Is it 170? Okay. Then let's keep going. We're going to go ahead and put them all in order. I think it's 174, 176, 180, 182. This is the worst part, is taking time to do. There's 2 186s, a 188, and a 198. So my 20th percentile, I believe it's going to be the 174. I think you have to go after 2. It's like what numbers are below that. Like you have 2 numbers below that. So 174 would be at your 20th percentile. I don't think, let me just double check. It is 174. Let me see what I did on this one. You go to the number, you go to the next number. Yeah, you go to the next number. Okay? I think because they use the words at or below that. How many are below that? So how many would I have below that? 2. That's why it's 174. I believe that's in your book, which I don't have a book, for the explanation. Box and whisker ply. Hold on.
Is that so many numbers still?
Okay, let's see. Let's go to this one. Let's try 11. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Let's find the 80th percentile. We're on the same problem since we've already done all the work. For 80th percentile, all I'm going to do is change this to 0.8, multiply by 10, and it's 8, right? if I just move that and multiply by 10. So I'm going to count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be 188 would be 80th percentile. That means you are above 80% of the people. Like if you were talking about height or whatever theirs is. I don't know what theirs is talking about. Not height.
So you just.
And I'll see what they got. 180. I can't tell if that's an 8. Yeah, 188.
I've got the 180 equals n over 10 and then the 8 equals n.
Because you multiply by 10. Now then that just tells you if they're in order, you count how many, you count to 8 and you go to the number above that because that's how many are less than that. Like I'm picking the number where there's 8 numbers less than that. That's going to be my 80th percentile. That means like you're bigger than, like if you were talking about height, which obviously this isn't, I can't think of an example, but say you were talking about height and you were 80th percentile, then your height is, you're taller than 80%. So you're going to the next number.
So if you're in the 20 percentile, then
You're going to go, yeah, you're taller than 20% of the people, and then you're looking at 174, okay?
So how do you pick 174 and 188?
So for this one, it was 2. I went up 2. So I went, that has 2 in front of it. So it's 174. This one has 8 numbers in front of it.
So you go to the number and then you go down to the bigger number.
Yeah.
below the number that you're talking
Or it depends on how you number it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I can't get that. There it goes. Okay. We'll do another one. You want me to do another one? Yes? Okay. I'm going to leave my little formula up there. I'll erase this. Let me find one. I think that's how it's worded on your worksheet. Let's see. That's asking for something different. What is that one? That's kind of backwards. I don't want to confuse you. Oh, maybe. No, it's like number 10. Let me do another one that's like this one. I'll do 11. You want me to do 11? Okay. So 11, I'll find the 30th percentile. Does that sound good? On my number 11. Sorry, not yours. Okay. So I'm going to put them in order real quick. I'll get that done. Let's see. It looks like my lowest number is 324. This is the worst part. Is it 346? I guess so. 348. Oh, 345.
Do you need a pencil? I do need a pencil. Okay, just I'll use it over there.
Okay, then I've got 350, 352, 356, 360, 368, 376. Okay, got them all in order. Now, I want to find the 30th percentile. So that's 30, and I'm thinking 10 numbers. Again, multiply by 10, and I get 3 numbers in front. 1, 2, 3. 348 would be the number that I'm looking at for my 30th percentile. You just count 1, 2, 3. That's it.
So when you write it, like it'd be like third or whatever.
So I would just write 348 for my first answer, and then comma, and then I would find my next one. Is everybody okay? Now, there's a change on number 10. That's how you do 8 and 9.
So how do you get the 80th?
So I would do 0.8 equals, because I did 30th percentile. I didn't even do 20th or 80th. If I wanted 80th percentile, I would put this right here. And I would count 8 and pick my next number.
And if there's 20 numbers, then you just put.
Then you would divide by 20, yeah. Yeah, this big N, this where I put my 10, that's how many numbers there are. Now, y'all don't do the last one yet. Soon we'll get done with this and turn it in and go to the next thing. Percentiles, It's backwards. You might can do I don't know if you can do number 10 or not. It's weird. I don't even put these on the test. Let me look at number 10. At what percentile is 10? I get. Yeah, what percentile is 18?
Do you put them on number 9? So I did the 30th percentile, and so you multiply by 20.
Multiplied what by 20?
Like
Oh,
0.
yeah, because there were 20 numbers. Yes.
And you get 6.
Okay, so now you're going to count 6.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to do number 10 because that one's just going to be confusing and it's not on the test. So we won't worry about. We're just going to do through number 9. I don't want to. Paused. Okay. So this looks at how much your data is spread out. And we'll get to collecting data and stuff too. That's not too bad. So we're going to look at variance and standard deviation. They kind of go together. So we have the lowercase Greek letter sigma. Okay, that's going to be standard deviation, and when it's sigma squared, it's variance. Okay, this is not the summation sigma. See how much Greek letters are using now? Okay, so if you remember, one of the symbols we use x with the line over it, that's the average or the mean. So this is not, I'm not going to say it's not difficult. This takes time. So it's going to annoy you as to, my gosh, I'm spending all my time writing numbers, subtracting numbers, or like finding the average. Writing numbers and subtracting and adding stuff together kind of thing, or squaring numbers. That's all it is. If you can add, subtract, divide, and square numbers, you can do this. You just have to like make a table, okay? So we're going to have to find the standard deviation. We'll also graph some of this. So your first step, what we'll do, and we'll do this in a table, it makes it nice, organized, and neat. Your first step, you're going to find the mean of your data set. Okay, that's going to be our x with the line over it, the average. We find the average. Okay, then once you find your average, you have to subtract each number in your data set with the average. Okay, it's okay if you end up with positives or negatives, doesn't matter. So your first step is going to be, you'll find your average. Okay. Then in your table, you're going to have,
Does that mean average or something?
that means average, yeah. I'm trying to think how they write this. You'll have all your x values. I believe it's what it is all your x values. All your numbers listed in your table. All right, I don't know what numbers they'll be, but if you have 10 of them, you're going to have 10 numbers listed here. Okay, then you're going to subtract the average from each number. This is what your table will look like. Keeps it nice and organized. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, because what do we do next?
Wait, what step are you on?
This is step 1. No. Finding the average is step 1. Subtracting them is step 2. Okay? So we found our average, now we subtract them. The third thing is, this is why it didn't matter if it was positive or negative, we're going to take all these numbers and square them. So it might look confusing right here, but all this means is take this number and square it. Take this number and square it. Take this number and square it. Okay? And then, let's see, the variance will divide by how many there are. So see how like math like that looks? That's the sum. We'll find the sum of all those numbers. So all these numbers right here, we'll find their sum. Okay?
So that's what that one means?
That's what this means. The sum of all these numbers. That's what that means. We're going to add up all those numbers. And then we're going to divide by how many there are. And that's part of our answer. We'll get used to it. This is going to, like, we need numbers. Just see. This looks like Greek. It really is. It's sigmas and all that. So, anyway, these are the steps. And it's the same steps every time. It doesn't matter what your data is. So you'll find this is variance, and then you just square root it, and it finds the standard deviation. That's it. That's what we need is a standard deviation. It tells you how much do your numbers deviate from the average. How spread apart is your data?
Can I write that?
Yeah. I'm wanting to say, let me see if I have a table. I thought one time I made a table for y'all. Don't see one there. I don't see a table made. Okay, we're writing. Are y'all cold? A little. Anybody not cold? I'll just turn the fan down a little bit. Try not to move it too much. Sorry. Are we still writing? Anybody? Nope, y'all are just waiting on me. Okay, so let's look at a problem. Or wait, we're still writing? Are you sure? Okay. So let's look at, we'll do a small set of data. I'm gonna write the data down so I have room. It's these numbers. We've got 6.9, 8.7. This is what's listed for me. 7.6. 4.8 and 9.0. So not a ton of numbers. So our first step, what do we do with those numbers? We find the mean. Okay, yeah, the average. Same thing. Yeah, we're going to find the average. How do you find the average? You add them up and divide by however many there are, which in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got the answer, but we'll go through it. Okay, we've got 6.9 plus 8.7 plus 7.6, 4.8, and 9. Divided by 5. And my average is 7.4. Okay, so I'm going to use that. That was step 1. Now, in my table, I'm going to list, and y'all, I did this in college statistics. I remember, this is what I remember about college statistics, this right here. I draw my 6.9, my 8.7, 7.6, 4.8, and 9.0. Okay, those are my values. Does everybody understand that? I just wrote them down. Those are my 5 numbers. If I had 10, I would have to write 10. If I had 20, Lord, I'd have to write 20. Okay? And then, what comes next? What do I do with these numbers and that average? We subtract them. Okay? So I'm just going to, in my calculator, and again, it's okay if it's negative. I'm going to do this number minus this one. Okay, so I told you all we're doing is adding, subtracting or multiplying today. 6.9 minus 7.4. Did everybody get that? 8.7, that's supposed to be a point. Minus 7.4. 7.6 minus 7.4. Well, we know that one. 4.8 minus 7.4. And 9 minus 7.4. I'll wait a second and make sure everybody understands. Okay? That I subtracted.
Wait, so do you do the numbers you have already minus the
Yeah,
average?
so I just wrote down all my numbers right here that they gave me, and I have to subtract the mean from each one of them. And that's where all these answers came from.
Okay, so you do the mean subtracted by those numbers. Not those
Yeah,
numbers
it's not going to matter because all that'll matter if it's negative or positive, but we're about to square them. What happens when we square them? All the negatives go away. So, but yeah, it's supposed to be this number minus the mean.
Okay.
So you have to square each one.
Yeah, so that will be your next step. I'm just writing some little notes. The first thing we'll find is the variance.
So these didn't need to be in order.
No.
Will they ever need to be in order?
On this, no. Now, if we find the standard deviation, we may have numbers on a number line and draw some stuff later. But as far as this table goes, to find the standard deviation, they don't have to be in order. I'll explain my notes in a minute, but is everybody good with me squaring the numbers now? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these numbers and just square them, and it goes in the next part. So negative 0.5 squared, just make sure all your negatives should go away, okay? If not, it's because you didn't do parentheses right. So 0.25, 1.69, 0.04, 6.76. I'm sorry. I just have all the answers in this. I'm just copying them down.
That's like gosh dog.
No, I was just copying. That's a 2.56. That's kind of. But you can try and make sure. I was just writing it down. Just square the numbers.
Wait, can you show me how you did your parentheses for the first one?
Yeah. So if you're gonna do, which I didn't even put the negative. Negative 0.5 has to go in parentheses. Then press the little square button. Yeah, because that makes the negative go away.
Yeah.
But again, you can ignore the negative and just know all these are going to be positive. That's what I did. I just did 0.5 squared.
And I have to add all those together.
Now you add them all up.
Just the ones in that column. Right?
Yep, just the ones in that column.
So you get the sum and then you divide it by,
How many there are? 5. And that'll be your variance.
and that goes in the next piece.
That's one of the answers. If it asks for your variance, then what you said, you just found it. But I'm going to get to that in a second. Is everybody okay with me adding them up? Okay, so the next part is the sum of all these. So I add all these numbers up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. If I add them all up, I get 11.30. I'm going to write that in red. 11.30 or 11.3 is probably what I would write. Is everybody good with that? Now that doesn't tell me an answer. Now, well, not yet. We're going to find the variance first. The variance, which we don't use much, we need standard deviation. But you'll have problems. They'll say, what's the variance? You just average this sum. So I add them all up and divide by how many were there? 5. That's your variance. So my variance is going to be the 11.3 divided by 5. Yep. And I'll stop and wait there for a second. That's one of my answers. It's not the big thing that I needed, though. There's the variance. So then,
Wait, pause.
okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I need y'all to tell me, so I won't know if you don't tell me. This is a sigma. It's a Greek letter. Okay, this is.
How
There's.
did you draw that?
I just
did a U and then started laughing.
I just did a little line and a whoop
Okay.
to it. It's up there by Casey. They've got several on the sigmas.
I didn't see that.
The big one is the summation. Then the small one is variance and standard deviation.
So what's that one? Is that just another one?
I guess that's just another way to write it.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't even see what that one is. I don't.
It's like a.
It almost looks like a gamma. No, maybe not. From there. What does gamma look like?
It's the. It's that one. No. It's
Okay,
kind of
no.
like a. I don't know.
I don't
It's like
know.
an S and a 5 cross. I'm ready.
Okay, we're ready. So y'all, from variance to standard deviation, look what the variance symbol is. It's sigma squared. What is the standard deviation symbol? It's just a sigma. What did they do? They square rooted it. So guess what you do to go from variance to standard deviation? You just square root your answer. So if I'm trying to find, and I usually just put SD, my standard deviation, I'm just going to take the square root of 2.26, which is 1.5. And they use the symbols. I guess I need to try to use, I don't know. It looks like an upside down hat or something.
I looked at it as like an O with a line.
Yeah, I think theirs looks more like an O.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I got O.
an O with a line. I can't tell.
Like
Like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Gamma's like the upside down hat.
Okay. Do y'all know the Greek alphabet?
I got it taught to me at OU. They were like, oh, Greek life, look.
Yeah.
you're an
Alpha, beta,
alphabet.
gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, psi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, pi, chi, psi, omega.
Oh my gosh, I had a party at frat. Why do you know that?
But my dad taught me that when I was little because he had been in a fraternity and he said we had to recite I'm recording this. We had to recite the Greek alphabet before the match went out. And so I was like, I want to do that. So anyway, I learned that when I was little. It's so stupid.
Is that why you have this class?
No, because all those are math symbols. Like the triangle is delta, and that's the change in that we do a slope. Wherever delta is at the top right. Delta, we use the triangle. We use sigma summation. We use the little sigma. What else do I use? A theta is an angle. When we do trig, go up that's theta. We'll use all those in trig. Theta is what we use for angles. Yeah, that's what they use.
I couldn't find it on my calculator.
That's what they use for angles.
We use pi.
Pi. Yeah, pi's a number.
I think that's a
We're using it again right now.
What?
Middle.
For percentile.
She's good.
Yeah. I know there's probably more. Huh? Oh, I thought somebody had a question. There's really, I know there's something we've used beta for.
Why?
Miss Beta.
Yeah.
What's that little
E looking thing again?
What E thing?
Summation.
No. Oh, the sigma, the big
The
sigma.
big sigma?
Yeah, that means you're adding up things. The summation.
Yeah, but why do you have two different ones? Why-
Like we have an uppercase A and a lowercase A. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So you can use either.
We have the uppercase sigma and a low. I guess that's how you say that for Greek. I don't speak Greek. Okay, no, if it's the big sigma, that's summation. The big E looking thing, the sigma, that means you're adding things up. This little sigma squared is variance. Little sigma is standard deviation. Y'all, I did not make this up. Thank your Greek philosophers. That from a long time ago. They're dead. They're the ones who decided this. They were Greek, so they used all the Greek letters. Okay, are we ready for another? Are y'all wanting to try your own? No, like I could give you your paper and say, try this one instead of waste. Like I hate to just waste time. I'll leave this up here. Yeah. Here. Somebody pass this. Anybody want to pass these out while I get this for her? Y'all can try. There's not a lot of room, so you're gonna need your own paper. If you'll pass those out. You'll need your own paper. Start with number 1. We won't probably do them all because of time. I forget how long these take. Oh, you're trying to do that. I didn't know that. Let me pause my video.